A lot of us, we get on social media and we say, oh, well, he looks successful, or she has a certain car, he has a certain lifestyle. Let me try to portray as if I live that same lifestyle on social media. Everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody wants to be at the top. Everybody wants to be the leader of leaders. Everybody wants to be the person that everybody respects. And, they want the clout, so to speak. Can I tell you that what would be even better than that is to take the time to say, what do they do in their seed season? How do they develop themselves? How do they work on themselves? Emulate their work ethic, emulate their consistency. Every single Saturday, we're here for ambassadors of the kingdom, guys. The purpose, above all else, is to show people that if you practice God's principles, you can participate in his promises. And I get excited about that message for a couple different reasons, a couple different specific purposes. I believe that every single person on this call who sees it live, who sees the recording, I believe we all have a purpose in life. I think it's important that if you want to live an impactful life, a purposeful life, I believe it has to do with other people. I don't know about y'all. Somebody let me know in the chat. Is anybody interested in living a life that actually affects the lives of other people positively? I think that contribution is the rent we pay for the space we take up on earth. But if you're going to go out there and make an impact, if you're going to go out there and make a difference, if you're going to go out there and help some people, more than anything, you've got to have the skills. You got to know the principles. You got to have the mindset. Okay. And you have to consume the right information to be able to go out there and actually make that happen. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share. I know we got some people live on the call, guys. Send this out to somebody else. Think about who you want to see grow. Who do you want to see elevate? Who do you want to see close the month out strong? Send this link out to them. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all today. I'm gonna shoot it straight to you on some things that have not only helped me, but I know have helped a lot of other people who have accomplished things in life that they have always set out to accomplish. So the first things first, guys, if you don't know already, I'm switching back and forth between the slides and just talking to you. Okay, so the first thing, again, if you're talking about the first secrets, right? These are not secrets, but the first secret, that successful people know is to never compare. So if you're taking notes, whether you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, Zoom, never compare. How many of you guys have ever been on social media? Okay, you've ever looked at somebody else who was successful, somebody who was, you admired, and maybe you were going through a rough patch, you were going through a season. Things weren't going the way that you wanted them to go, and you just look at these other people. Everybody is just so successful on social media. Everybody's so happy on social media. Everybody's so wealthy on social media. Okay, everybody looks so good. How many of you guys have started a project? You've started in a business. You started on a journey at the same time as someone else, but it seemed like they were advancing faster than you. You've seen somebody else that looks like you and they're winning, but you haven't won yet, right? Somebody else is just blowing through the levels of life, of business. And you're asking yourself, you're like, man, like what's better about them than me? What are they doing that I'm not doing? And what you do is you start to compare, but it's not fair. Because what you're doing is you're comparing their advantages to your disadvantages. You're comparing their highlight reel to your real life, right? So you don't know what it is that they had to go through in their seed season. You don't know the hours that they put in. You don't know what they did to build their influence. You don't know what they did to build their skill set. You don't know what happened for them behind the scenes that you just didn't know about. You just didn't see. So the worst thing that you can do is compare in a negative light. A comparison is the thief of all joy. So never look at another man, never look at another woman and compare yourself in a negative way to where you say, man, there must be something wrong with me. Successful people, we know if someone's doing better than me, I'm inspired. Why? Because I say, if he can do it, I can do it too. If she did it, wait a minute, there's something that she learned, something that she was able to develop within herself that allowed her to do that. And I can develop the same thing. Does this make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat. Okay. Does that make sense? So another thing that I will say that's so important, when a lot of us, we see somebody who's successful, we begin to try to duplicate and copy the results. Follow me. A lot of us, we get on social media and we say, oh, well, he looks successful, or she has a certain car, he has a certain lifestyle. Let me try to portray as if I live that same lifestyle on social media. And what I would encourage you to do is don't emulate the results, emulate their process, emulate the work ethic. I see so many people, everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody wants to be at the top. Everybody wants to be the leader of leaders. Everybody wants to be the person that everybody respects. And, you know, they want the clout, so to speak. Can I tell you that what would be even better than that is to take the time to say, what do they do in their seed season? Okay, how do they develop themselves? How do they work on themselves? Emulate their work ethic, emulate their consistency, emulate their character, emulate their principles, and you'll get the results by default. Most people are so stuck on, oh, well, you know, I need to look like this person and that'll bring the results. Well, the truth is, if you do what the person did, then you can have what they have. Too many people want to skip the do what they did and they just want to get to, no, I want to have what they have. Okay. The next thing after that, right, is going to be how to build relationships with high value people. Have you guys ever, you know, been around somebody who's successful and you just wanted to know, how do I build a deeper relationship with this person? How do I connect with this person in a way that they can pour value into me? How do I attract this person as a mentor? How do I attract this person as a coach? Okay, has anybody ever wanted to know how to get in successful circles? How to earn the attention of a mentor? How to get that personal relationship? And I used to wonder this all the time. I said, man, how do I get this person to mentor me? Do I just send them a DM on Instagram? Do I just wait for them to call me? What is it that's going to build that relationship? And the truth is, if you want to attract people of high value into your life, you must first give value to them. Somebody says, isn't that backwards? They're the one with all the value. No, it's not backwards. When you sow into their life, they will then sow back into your life. But the first thing that you got to do before anything is going to be give to them. And what you give, you can keep. I'm going to say that again. What you give, you can keep. So if you find a mentor, if you find a coach, if you even find somebody who, maybe you just want to be in their circle, the first thing you should be thinking is, what kind of value can I give? How can I serve them in a way where they would feel compelled to then give value back to me? Okay. It's about, what can I do to be able to honor that person? Guys, when I had, individuals that were mentors, and even still to this day, if they put out some information, before I ever ask them a question, before I ever go and, ask them to do anything for me, I'm gonna consume the information that they already made available. If they have videos on YouTube, I'm gonna go watch those videos. If they have an audio book, I'm gonna go purchase the audio book. If they have a training, I'm gonna be on that training. If they have a meeting that I can arrive to, an event that I qualify to go to, I'm going to be at that event. I'm going to be listening and I'm going to be learning. Why? Because that's the law of honor. I wouldn't try to take that person's personal time when it's convenient for me. I wouldn't try to say, oh, well, let me ask this person to train me one-on-one. Let me ask this person to mentor or coach me one-on-one, when you haven't first gone through the process of consuming everything else that they have available first. Does this make sense? Type of AOTK in the group chat. I meet people all the time who they get involved in a business or they get involved in a community, a network, and they want to go straight to the top. They think, oh, okay, well, I want to be mentored by this person. I want to work directly with that person. Well, that's not possible until first you serve your way there. Okay, you add value to someone who has what it is that you want. Sometimes, guys, I think we forget If someone is in front of you and they have what it is that you want, that person has the value, they have the answer, they have the solution to your problems. So if that's the case, how valuable is that person to you? If you can have the results, if you can be in a position that they're in, wouldn't you want to do everything you possibly could to prove, to show I'm the person that you want to mentor? My goal, ladies and gentlemen, with mentors, with coaches, is to show them the more you sow into me, the more return. I'm going to be the highest return on your investment. If you spend time with me, if you put any sort of resources into me, I'm going to multiply that. I'm going to show them I've studied you. I know you better than anybody else. Does this make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat, guys. I use this over and over and over to attract, every single mentor really that I ever wanted. Right? But I was willing to add value to them first. I was willing to sow into them first. I was willing to always put their respect, their honor first. Okay? I never wanted them to get any negative vibe. I never wanted them to hear anything negative that came back around for me, because I was going to give to them. I was going to honor them. I was going to respect them. Okay? The next thing, ladies and gentlemen, is belief. And I love this. I'll give you guys a scripture. You guys can see it. Y'all can seize it. Okay. Belief is one of the secrets to success. You know, guys, I look at a lot of things that I've been able to accomplish, a lot of things that I've been able to do. And the truth is, the hardest thing that I did was not succeeding, but rather believing that I could. Does this make sense? The hardest thing I did was not succeeding, but rather believing that I could. Matthew 8:23 says, then Jesus said to the Roman officer, go back home, because you believed, it has happened. And the young servant was healed that same hour. It's about belief. Have you ever considered that maybe the reason why you're not succeeding is because you're not believing? Some of us, guys, you know what I used to do? I used to, I was in a business, and I would just go and, I would talk to people. I would talk to whatever, send out 300 messages in a day. I go out and talk to so many different people about my business. I would go out there and, just, again, so much activity, so much action, but it didn't yield a result. Can I tell you why? I didn't believe in what I was doing. I didn't believe in myself. So when I would go out there and I would do the work, the people knew that I didn't believe. The energy about me was that I didn't believe. Okay. So the best thing that you can do, ladies and gentlemen, again, as you're working on your skill set, work on your mindset, work on your belief level. How do you do it? Well, you need to believe to get yourself there, but can I teach you how belief works? The word says faith comes by hearing. It's your 5 senses. Write this down. Okay. Your 5 senses. If you're in a terrible situation in life, if things aren't going your way, if you're struggling, like I was struggling my first 3 years in business and entrepreneurship, and even after that, I've had times where I've struggled, times where I've gone through things, but I knew how my belief worked. And I knew that if I could control what came in contact with my 5 senses, I knew that I could control my reality. I knew that I could impact my belief. I knew my belief would then impact my actions, my activity, and my activity would then impact my results. But it was about what I was seeing. Okay. Some of us are very frivolous with what it is that we see. What are you seeing? You should be seeing the right kind of content. You should be seeing the right type of information. You should be seeing the right kind of people. It's about what you're hearing. What are you listening to? Guys, it should be in your routine to feed your mind, feed your brain information that affirms where it is that you want to go. Your taste. Go to a nice restaurant. Even if you can't order the full meal, take the opportunity to experience maybe the appetizer. Just get in the environment. Get around people that are successful. Get around people that have what it is that you want. Change your taste, your smell, ladies and gentlemen. Try buying an expensive cologne. Try buying, instead of getting a $20 cologne, maybe get the $100 cologne. Instead of getting the $20 perfume, maybe you go and get the $150 $50 perfume. Why? Just to get yourself accustomed, ladies and gentlemen. I've done this so many different times in my life. I'll put myself in a position to stretch me, to grow me. You know, I was fortunate enough to have mentors along my career that would allow me to sit in a Rolls Royce, that would allow me to sit in the McLaren, that would allow me to sit in the Lamborghini. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not necessarily about the car. It's about what it did to my brain. It's about what it did to my vision. It stretched me. It grew me. Right. I was fortunate enough, ladies and gentlemen, with my touch, I was able to go and touch these different vehicles. I was, I didn't live in the $1 million home, but I would go through the neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen, and I would go and I would tour and I would take pictures. I would take videos. I would go and just elevate my environment, my experience. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was doing DoorDash, when that was my only source of income, okay, my only source of income when my car worked, that was before my car broke down back in the day. And I didn't DoorDash in my neighborhood. And what I would do is I would drive about 30 minutes and I would go to the neighborhood where all of the $1 million homes were, where all of the rich people were, all of the wealthy and abundant people were. There was surplus in that environment. There was no lack. And I said, I'm going to do their orders. I'm going to take their orders. What's the difference? I can do it here. I can drive 30 minutes. And what I would do is when I was waiting for an order, I might drive through the neighborhood. I might sit and park my car and just walk around and look at the different homes. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, here's what it did. Even when I was going through everything that I was going through, I was able to keep an elevated mindset. I was able to keep a stretched vision because I knew how my belief worked. Your perception is your reality. So it's not what you're going through. It's not what you're dealing with. It's not your life circumstance. It's about what your perception is, how you perceive it. Does this make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat. Guys, you saw on the last Saturday's webinar, I showed you some of the word that I have printed, laminated, framed. Hey, put up signs, ladies and gentlemen. Put those around your house. Put those where you can see them. Okay? Out of sight, out of mind. If you don't see it, ladies and gentlemen, you can't be surprised when you don't believe it. The next thing is leadership. Okay? Leadership. Right? You guys can see this. Instagram, what up? Facebook, what up? My guy's locked in. Okay? All right, bet. So leadership, ladies and gentlemen, the thing I love about leadership is this. I think leadership is not only the highest paying profession in the world, but I believe that leadership, ladies and gentlemen, is what's going to allow you to scale your vision. You can have a small vision, you can have a small impact, you can become successful, but can I tell you guys that I don't really believe success is success without successors. Would you agree? I believe if you're going to learn some information, if you're going to break free, if you're going to change your life, I think at some point in life, ladies and gentlemen, you get to a point and you want to help that same thing happen for other people. I remember when I was broke, bust, disgusted, whatever you want to call it, no influence, no skills, nothing. All I wanted was I just wanted a little bit. I just wanted the taste. All I wanted when I was failing was not to be failing. But the moment, ladies and gentlemen, you get further, the moment that you're no longer just trying to survive and you get into a thrive mentality, you now think, what kind of contribution can I make? What can I do for other people? How can I scale that vision? And that's when you talk about contribution. That's when you talk about impact. But even if anybody on the call want to build a big business, I just want to know. I know we got all types of people. Anybody on the call want to build a big business? The only way to have a big business is by building a big organization, by having leadership in place. Do you want to test that theory? Think about some of the most successful people in the world. You look at Elon Musk, SpaceX, Tesla. Ladies and gentlemen, the only way he has so many, Twitter, the only way he has so many different things that he's able to operate at the same time, can he do that by himself? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Can he do that by himself? Can he run those multi-billion-dollar corporations by himself? Yes or no, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Absolutely not. He needs leadership. He needs experience. He needs skills. He needs other people with the ability who are capable. And so let me tell you something. I was talking to a leader yesterday, and I want to tell you about this conversation. I was talking to them and I said, hey, listen, you're doing amazing. You're doing very, very well. I said, do you know that within 12 months from now, you can be earning six figures? Mind you, this person has never made $1,000 a month in business. I told this person, I said, hey, listen, do you know, do you understand? I was just curious to get in that brain. I was curious to get in that mind. And I wanted to see, I said, do you know that you can be earning six figures within 12 months from now if you actually apply yourself? And this person was honest with me, and they said, you know what? I think that kind of scares me. And I said, I'm glad you were honest with me. Why do you say that? They said, well, I'm scared of leadership. I don't know that I can be in that position to be that leader, to be that person. And this person shared it with me, and I'm glad that they did, because I said, you know what? That was one of my biggest battles. That was one of my biggest demons. That was one of my biggest mountains, was believing that I was good enough, was believing that I could be that leader, was believing that I could be in position to lead hundreds and thousands of people. But I said, listen, all you got to do is move from faith to faith. Right? First, you lead one person, then you lead 5 people, then it's 10, 10 becomes 20, 50, 100. Next thing you know, that scales 500, 1,000, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You don't have to believe in the end result. You just got to believe in the next level, and you move from level to level. And the Bible says, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, even just a little bit of faith, guess what? That faith can grow. Okay. But if you're going to study one thing, I promise you, again, I told you about belief, but again, leadership. Because once you believe, now you got to scale that belief that worked for you, and you got to scale it through other people. Makes sense? Type of AOTK in the chat. Okay. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is success and failure. Okay. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is success and failure. Caitlin, I see you locked in. Jessica, I see you locked in. Okay. The next thing that I want to get into, guys, when you talk about success and failure, they go together. And I think this is one of the hardest things for us as people, is we say, I don't want to fail. Has anybody ever failed? Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you, successful people, they fail more than people that fail. They just keep failing and keep failing and keep failing until they succeed. Okay, they keep failing and keep failing and keep failing until they succeed. Success and failure go together. It's not just win, 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 win. You got to get used to failing. You have to get used to things not going your way. Because guess what? If you haven't ever failed, ladies and gentlemen, what you going to talk about when they pass you the mic? What are you going to say when they say, whatever your name, come to the stage, right? Tell us about how you've been able to do what you did. Tell us about a challenge that you had and how you overcame it. What would you say if you never failed? Because if it went your way and you made it through 100% of the time, how do you go and help? How do you go and coach the person that didn't have it that easy? How do you go and coach the person that had adversity and trial and tribulation? What do you say to that person? You have nothing to say, because you never failed. So your failures, ladies and gentlemen, are a part of who you are. They're a part of your story. They give you a testimony. Okay. So you can't have one without the other. You need success, but you also need failure. Power, ladies and gents, it's like you need balance. Power must be coupled with accountability. Too much power and no accountability is dangerous. Money, ladies and gentlemen, must be coupled with generosity. Too much money and no giving is also dangerous. Okay, so it's the challenge that qualifies you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad that everything that I've been through because it made me, because it molded me, because it shaped me. I'm glad that in the last 7 years of my career, I've had massive challenges. I've had massive trial. I've had seasons of struggle because I've got pages and pages and pages and pages of notes, of knowledge, of wisdom, of experience that I can give back, but I never would have been able to do that if I didn't have to endure, if I didn't have to go through that. Does that make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat if you don't mind going through failure and failure and failure, if it means that eventually you will get around to the success. Next thing, ladies and gentlemen, that I do want to talk to you guys about is dealing with people. Okay? Dealing with people. Right? I want to talk to each and every single one of you about dealing with people. Okay? And I want you guys to really understand this because I believe that our purpose is attached to people. I don't believe we can look. I mean, here's the thing, because I'm going to be so real with you. I've been through so much in the people business and dealing with people, mentoring, coaching people. At one point, can I be honest with you? I didn't want to deal with people. I said, how can I get what it is that I want for myself, for my family, and escape dealing with people? There was a season. I seriously said this. I was thinking about it, and I said, you know what? What if there was a way I could just provide for me and my family, and I just stay in my bubble, and I won't have to deal with these people that betray you, that gossip, okay, that say one thing and then do another. How do I escape? Because listen, I want to be so real with you. If you want to have a purpose and you want to have an impact, you're not going to escape people. It's in the center of people. People, ladies and gentlemen, is how you change the world. People is how you leave your thumbprint on this planet even after you're gone. But you have to deal with people. And so the pro in dealing with people is, I mean, there's beauty and impact. You feel good, you help somebody else, you made a difference. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, it be them same people that you're trying to help that sometimes you want to help them more than they want to help themselves. Yeah, it's the same people that you're uplifting and you give an influence. They get the influence and use theirs to try to destroy yours. Okay, this is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. But if you know that and you understand that, can I prepare you? I don't say this to scare you. I say it to prepare you. You love them anyways. Because if Jesus came to save humanity and they crucified him, right? And they beat him, what makes you any better? How do you think they're going to do you? How do you think they're going to do me? Right? This is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. But again, you got to think about what you want. You got to think about the impact that you want to make. And when I think about my vision, when I think about what I want to be remembered for, I said, no, I'm going to move in love. I said, no, it don't matter what it is that people do to me. I'm not going to allow how people do me to dictate how I do them. Change my life forever. I said, I'm going to do unto them as I'm called to do unto them by God in heaven. And now, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I'm more free when I walk around. Okay? I feel better each and every single day. Why? Because I'm not petty. Some of y'all on the call, man. Okay, some of us, we be so petty. I'm not petty. Right? I don't trip off of little stuff. I don't think about what he did and she said. There's people that done stuff. I know they did it and they would never even know I did it. Why? Because I'm not tripping. Right? I'm free from that. Okay. So that's dealing with people. That's enough. I'm giving y'all the secrets, man. Okay. The next is creating a culture for success. How many guys want to build a strong culture around the people that you're running with? How many guys want to build a strong culture for success? A culture where people are winning, thriving, growing. Things are getting accomplished. Okay. Creating a culture for success, ladies and gentlemen, the way that you're going to do it, you have a leadership growth plan. Let me ask you that. What is the growth plan in place for your leaders to be growing? Okay. Are you actually, and this is so important because can I tell you about myself and maybe it'll help you? See, back in the day, I first started having success. I first started gaining these principles and, this knowledge and this wisdom, but it was only me. If you were to look at my organization, you were to look at the people that were running with me, you didn't necessarily see the same level of leadership. You didn't see the same level of growth, right? And the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, is because I didn't know how to, I didn't have a leadership growth plan. I had my leadership growth plan, but I didn't have a leadership growth plan for the group, for the team, for the organization. Okay. So if you want to create a culture for success, it's a culture where your leaders are growing. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, it's the belief. Is belief a part of your organization? Listen, you want to know how to check the belief of your group? What are they saying? What are they not saying? What's the belief in the organization? Keep a high level of belief in your culture. What is everyone speaking every single day? Are they speaking the vision? Are they speaking success? Or is everyone in a group chat complaining and talking about what's wrong? Right? Is everybody talking about nonsense in the culture? Is everybody talking about like what's the culture? What's the belief? What's the emotional state? What's the morale of the group? Can you keep a high morale? Ladies and gentlemen, as a leader, again, we're talking about impact. We're talking about ambassadors of the kingdom. You want to go out there and make a difference, make a change. What's the morale of the group? When the morale's off, you need to look at that and you need to address it. You need to handle it. You need to move forward as a leader and keep everybody on the same page. There should be a culture and there should be a culture and an environment of love, of gratitude. When there's love and gratitude in the environment, in the culture, ladies and gentlemen, all the problems, they don't hit the same. We just keep rolling. We just keep moving. Why? Because people are grateful every single day. Because people are moving in love every single day. Little stuff doesn't cause big problems. People now all of a sudden are not turning a mountain into a molehill or a molehill into a mountain because there's love, because there's gratitude in the environment. Okay? That's creating a culture for success. Ladies and gentlemen, competition. Can I ask y'all a question? Who on this call is competitive? Y'all gotta let me know something, man. Facebook, Instagram, let me know who's competitive. I want to know the truth, okay? Because I can tell you guys, for myself, I'm extremely competitive, right? Maybe it's the athlete in me. Maybe it's, I don't know. There's so many different things that I could point to. Okay, I'm very competitive, right? And I want to talk to you guys about being competitive, competition. You want to compete in a healthy manner. Have you ever been working with somebody and, give you an example, you guys were competing and you just felt like it kind of became a toxic competition in a way like, no, like if he wins, it's going to be a bad day. Or if I win, that person's going to have a bad day, right? Or have you ever seen somebody have you ever succeeded and people didn't clap for you and it was somebody close to you? How weird was that? What was that feeling when they didn't celebrate you, when they didn't, acknowledge it even? Have you ever seen it? It was weird, huh? I was like, oh man, I didn't know you felt that way. You don't want to get into the habit of competing in a negative manner. I would begin to tell you, I would submit to you that God can bless you and me at the same time. Why? Because two of us, ladies and gentlemen, or all of us watching on all platforms, we could all jump into the Atlantic Ocean. And there's still enough room for us all to swim. What's the point? There's enough success to go around too. There's enough room for all of us to win and no one has to lose. That's the problem. People think in order for me to win, you got to lose. That's not how that works. So don't limit yourself to what other people are doing. See, when you're competing with somebody else, you're limiting yourself to their level of success anyways. And all you want to do now is be better than them. What if I said that you can be better than you? And then you can get better than you again. And then you can get better than you again. In 2023, version of you is better than 2022. And then you get better in 24 and 25 and 26. Ladies and gentlemen, That's the only competition you should be having, is with the man or the woman in the mirror. And again, this call is labeled as secrets to success, because this is the stuff that messes people up, is they trip off of what other people are doing, trying to compete. It's crazy. I see people get upset, and they'll go on Instagram Live and they're subbing the other group, and oh, now this person is upset and now they're posting black screens about the other side and all this other stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we can all win. And again, I say this to you because my mentality used to be a little bit toxic. It's a little bit toxic, okay? But I let that go, and I grew past that. And I said, no, listen, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out of my way to celebrate people who I don't financially benefit from. I'm going to go out of my way to go and celebrate him who's maybe even my competitor. If you look at a marketplace standard, I'm going to celebrate you. Right? If I caught myself having a weird feeling about them succeeding, I'm gonna get in that comment section. Hey man, congrats, you're killing it, bro. Right? And what it does, ladies and gentlemen, it dissolves that feeling in your heart. If you have a challenge watching other people win, you want to deal with that. You want to address that and go out of your way to celebrate the person who did it faster than you, who everybody else is celebrating. You celebrate them too, and I promise you this, what you celebrate in other people's life, God will then accelerate in your life. Right? Does that make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat. I want to be happy while I'm winning. I don't want to feel pressure while I'm winning, like, oh God, what if they win next? What if he wins next or she beats me next? No, I just want to enjoy my success. Right? Okay? Does this make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat. All right. Next, how many guys want to know how to identify leaders? Okay. How many guys want to know how to identify the people that you want to run with, the people that you want to succeed with? There's 5 characteristics, ladies and gentlemen, that I can give you. Number 1 is going to be character. If I'm going to work with somebody, I'm going to look at their character. What do I mean their character? What you say and what you do in the face of adversity. Are you guys, it's crazy. I've seen adversity just fold people completely. Ghost, gone, never hear from them again. Why? Because they don't have the character. Character is built in the valley. Character is built at the bottom. Do they have good character? Integrity. Can I trust your word? Can I trust what you're saying? If you say it, can I take it to the bank? If you say it, can I depend on that? Can I count on that? What's your integrity level? A positive mental attitude. Are you somebody that always is constantly throwing out negativity while we're trying to get the job done? Are you going to be the person speaking negativity and doubt into my ear or into the ear of the rest of the people that we're working with together? A positive mental attitude. You don't have that, I can't work with you. Work ethic. You got to show up with that. Some people ask me, they say, man, hey, listen, why don't you spend more time coaching, that person or that person or that person? But they don't work. Why would I coach you into the ground if you're not going to work? You're not going to at least show up. Just show up. Just do your part. When you do that, guess what? You take 2 steps, I'm going to take 4. That's my mentality, ladies and gentlemen. I would encourage you, stop trying to make chickens into eagles. Stop trying to take people who don't work and give them 1,000 hours of your time every day. Stop trying to take people who don't do anything and you're trying to give them more and more of your time, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can give them time, but I would give them time on recording. I wouldn't give them live energy. Give them some energy that was recorded from you or somebody else and let them spend some time with that. But work ethic, ladies and gentlemen. And the last but not least, a pleasing personality. Who are you pleasant to be around? Anybody ever work with somebody, they're just not pleasant. It's just very distasteful. They're very off-putting to you and to others. When you put other people around them, it rubs them the wrong way. Now you're getting text messages. Hey, did you see what that person said? Hey, did you see how they came across? You got to have a pleasing personality. People have to like you. Not everybody, but generally, I would say to be a great leader, you're not putting people down. You're not gossiping about people. You're not negative. You're not petty. You're overall pleasing to be around. Okay. Next, after that, we're going to wrap this thing up here in the next like 7 minutes. The pressure to remain successful. So, you know, some of you guys who have succeeded before, you might know about this feeling. And you feel like, man, I've done this. I've succeeded at this level. Now I got to stay at this level. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you that if you know how you did what you did, then there would be no pressure. You know, I was willing to give certain businesses up and start other businesses. You know, I was willing to give one thing up and start new. You know why I was willing to start from scratch over and over and over again in my life? Because if you have the skills, ladies and gentlemen, you don't ever have to worry. If you know how to do it and you did it once, you can do it again. If you know who the source is, you can do it again. If you know who you are and whose you are, you'll never be worried about making it happen again. I have faith in the next chapter because I know the author. And ladies and gentlemen, that should give you peace. That should allow you to be free. That should make you feel so good as you move forward. And that's why no, you can't keep me anywhere. You can't keep me in any environment. Because if I believe that there's more, ladies and gentlemen, you could drop me off anywhere. You could put me anywhere in any sort of circumstances. I'm going to get back to where I want to go. I'm going to get there. Why? Because there's no pressure, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? When you know how you did it. And also, ladies and gentlemen, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's not a destination. There is no top. So no, if I'm low in one season, guess what? I'm going to be high on another season. Okay? Because if you look at the grand scheme of things, you understand that a dip always comes before what? Okay, a rise. The sun never shines on all of us at the same time. Okay, if the sun is down here, it's going to be up somewhere else. Does this make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, faith first. This is something that, you know, I know it's kind of controversial to most people, but I'll just tell you my philosophy on it. And you guys know this about me. Look, man, Matthew 6:33 says, and I'm going to read it to you. I'm just letting you guys get it there. What's up, Rachel? What's up, John? Good to see you. What's up, Jessica? I'm going to just tell y'all straight. I'm going to just give it to you like this. Matthew 6:33 says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So why would I take God out of anything in my life? I'll never do that. Never take credit, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. It's always important for me, you know, to remain humble. That's an important thing to me in my life. I believe ego just stands for edging God out. What does that mean? Your ego starts telling you, oh, I'm the man. Oh, I'm this great. Oh, I did this. No. Never take credit for what God's doing in your life. Remain humble, always lean on God. That's my mentality. I believe that should be your mentality, right? I don't believe in having two separate, you know, lives, so to speak. Empathy, ladies and gentlemen. Has anybody ever worked with a leader? And has anybody ever worked with a leader and, man, they just judge people, they alienate people, they make people feel bad? Anybody ever seen somebody who just started a business and they feel like they're growing? They just read some John C. Maxwell. They just listened to some Jim Rohn. And now all of a sudden they better than everybody. They're sticking their nose up at everybody. You need to get your life together. You're broke. You know, I'm just giving you examples. Empathy, ladies and gentlemen, is something that took my game to an entirely new level. I worked with so many people over the past 7 years. I even see myself. And again, let me talk about me. when I was first getting started, I found myself as I was growing, I didn't have any tolerance. I didn't have any patience for people that weren't growing around me. I didn't. It was like, dude, get on it. Sis, what you doing? And I would let them know, or I would distance myself. I wouldn't talk to them. I would treat them differently. And it's terrible looking back at it. Empathy, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the characteristics of great leaders. You have to put yourself in their shoes. Oh, he's not committed. Oh, she's not committed because she didn't do this, that, and the third. I put myself in, I think back to when I didn't have it. I think back to when my mentality wasn't right. I think back to when I wasn't as mentally strong. Okay. And you always want to have empathy. Again, secrets of the successful. Write that down. Empathy. I'm not going to judge people. I'm not going to alienate people because they're not growing as fast as me. I'm going to give them the time and the love and the nurturing they need to grow, to become that better person, to become that better version of themselves. Okay. Don't judge people when you start to grow. Personal development, ladies and gentlemen, and we're nearing the end here in the next 2 minutes. You guys can see this. Personal development, extremely, extremely, extremely important. I cannot stress this enough. You got to be listening to the right information every single day. You got to be listening to the right information every single day. Guys, I'm talking about whenever you can. Look, I was a huge listener and watcher. I like YouTube. I like audiobooks. Maybe you're a big reader. It's just about consuming the right information. Do it every single day. Okay, do it every single day. Go look at the best people in the self-help space, whatever kind of information you're consuming. I like to look at different preachers. I like to look at different pastors. I like to study some of the most successful people in business. It all pertains to what you're trying to fill your mind with. Go and study. Go and take notes. Why? Just because. It's going to take you where you need to go. Malachi, but I'm just supposed to do that just because? Yes, just because. You don't even have to tell anybody you did it. Just go do it. Right? Grow. Become more. Jim Rohn says we can have more because we can become more. And that's so true. Go become more. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, the last but not the least, as we get out of here, is mentorship. How do you get the most out of mentorship? The way that you get the most out of mentorship, ladies and gentlemen, is understanding the 3 types of knowledge. And it's not just having a mentor and learning from them. Okay. You start off learning from them. You start off consuming their information. You start off taking their notes or taking notes from them. You start off, just consuming their information and taking it in. But then, ladies and gentlemen, it's about the activity. What are you doing? What are you doing with that information? I promise you, any good mentor coach, they're looking to see what you do. They want to see that. They're going to see, okay, did she listen? Did she learn? Did he listen? Did he learn? Okay, what did she do? And if you don't do, well, you know what they say. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Did you apply it? If you're not applying it, it's wasted time on both the mentor's part and yours. Learning knowledge. Then you got to do it. Activity knowledge. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, what I did is I started modeling my mentors. I started modeling my coaches to the point where people could say, oh yeah, you study that person. You listen to that person. Wow, he walks like him. He talks like him. And a lot of the time, it wasn't even intentional. I was just consuming that information so much it just started rubbing off. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you begin to change your identity, just like the leader that I was discussing this with yesterday. She said, oh, I don't know if I can be that leader. I said, listen, the more time that we spend, okay, the more time that you grow, the more time that you develop, you're going to notice changes. You're going to notice your identity is going to start to shift. You're going to start believing that you're that person. You start believing that you're that person. You know it's real when you are who you think you are. Okay. Next thing you know, ladies and gentlemen, people start saying, wow, there goes that man. Wow, there goes that woman. Wow, that's him. That's her. That's the GOAT. They're going to start saying that about you. But first, you got to learn. Okay. Then you got to do. Then you got to model. Does that make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat box. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're seeing the recording, hit the like button, share it with somebody else, hit the subscribe button if you got any value. Tune in here with us every single Saturday, showing people that if you practice God's principles, you can participate in his promises. That includes, again, we're talking about the word. We're talking about life skills. We're talking about just things to help you grow in any way, shape, or form. It's not company or product specific. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. I know I enjoyed it. Happy Saturday to every single one of you. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. See you on the next one.